1033. Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. Tonight on TCM, Patton Oswalt has been the man in charge. We're delighted to have him here, too. He's taken time to join me as this month's guest programmer, picking a great variety of movies for us to enjoy. Welcome back, Patton.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Great guest you are.
Oh.
Patton's last movie tonight comes to us from Belgium in 2004. It's a French-language movie called Aaltra. Dark comedy about two neighbors who dislike for each other leads to a very tragic event. Yet to you, this is a black comedy.
Sorry, I'm
you
laughing.
say.
You said tragic events. I know what's coming in this movie. Yeah, it is essentially. This is a black comedy. Anyone watching this right now is either going to love this movie and laugh as hard as I did at it, or you're going to be so angry that because they really go for the darkness. It's about two neighbors who are they're just two horrible people, two horrible men, and they get into a fight that leads to an accident that makes them paraplegics. They're both in. I'm not spoiling anything because this all happens in the first 10 minutes. There's a very interesting theory that if you take somebody who is just in genuine a happy, upbeat person, and you take someone else who's just always miserable and always sees the dark side, and the miserable person ends up in a wheelchair, like paralyzed, and the happy person ends up in a wheelchair, and the miserable person wins the lottery. If you go back a year later, the happy person will suddenly have adjusted to being in a wheelchair and be happy and upbeat, and the miserable person will be miserable even though he's won the lottery. So this is this movie where two miserable people end up in wheelchairs and become even more miserable and decide to go on a cross-country journey. This is a road movie in wheelchairs where they are going to sue the farming equipment company, Aaltra, that built the combine that caused their accident, and they are determined to get there and do this lawsuit. And you follow them on this. And again, I'm not selling this movie well because it sounds so grim, but it is filmed in this weird kind of grainy black and white, so it looks like almost like a lost silent movie, except there is sound, and they just are these two figures in these wheelchairs zipping across the French countryside. One of the guys is obsessed with motocross for some reason and wants to keep going to motocross matches, and he keeps meeting his motocross heroes. There's a moment where he meets his big motocross hero. I won't spoil it, but it's so hilarious and so vicious what the hero says to him. Again, I don't know how else to sell this movie is. You just really have to be, if you're in the right mood.
Well, what a discovery. I mean, I've never heard of this film.
Well, this is another of the film movement movies, that company that they go to festivals, they see movies that they love, and you get one per month when you subscribe. And Film Movement saw this movie that, again, won all these prizes, all this acclaim, and nobody wanted to release it, so they put it out.
It's also a great bookend for your evening here with us, because you started with a black comedy, Kind Hearts and Coronets.
And we talked about how Kind Hearts and Coronets really shows you that doing a black comedy is a tightrope walk, and you have to keep risking losing the audience. Well, so I'm glad we're ending this, because this is that principle taken to its extreme. Like, how do you really, really risk losing an audience every step of the way? And it just works.
Well, you've really whetted the appetite here. Here from Belgium in 2004, the TCM premiere of Aaltra.